I caught my husband red-handed having a secret affair with a man, and I exposed him brutally at work with confetti. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead as I stepped into his office holding a white bakery box tied with a ribbon. His coworkers looked up, expecting cupcakes or donuts. Instead, I opened the lid and grabbed a fistful of glossy squares and flung them into the air. The room froze as photos rained down like a blizzard of shame. Every square showing my husband wrapped around another man. Hands, lips, heat, all of it fluttering down across laptops, papers, and half-drunk mugs of coffee. One photo landed perfectly in a cappuccino, his guilty face staring up from the foam. Gasps echoed. His assistant covered her mouth. Someone whispered, "Oh my God." Daniel turned chalk white, his jaw unhinged, staring at me like he'd seen a ghost. And me? I just smiled, slow and deliberate, as the truth settled like dust over his carefully built world. That was the moment everything snapped. But how did I get here? How does a 30-year-old woman, married for years, end up turning her husband's double life into confetti? Before I tell you, if you're new here, welcome. This is where we share the stories no one wants to admit out loud. Betrayal, heartbreak, and the kind of petty, brutal revenge that makes you laugh and gasp all at once. So hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and settle in. Because what I did next will make you question what you'd do in my shoes. My name is Nora. I'm 30, and I thought I was married to the man of my dreams. But what I caught one rainy Thursday night outside my own home shattered everything I thought I knew. And it all started with a single porch light. It was late, the sky heavy with storm clouds. Daniel had texted me, "Working late, don't wait up." I believed him because that's what loyal wives do. I reheated leftover enchiladas, poured myself a glass of wine, and curled up with a crime documentary. Then the porch light clicked on, motion sensor. I got up, thinking maybe a stray cat had triggered it. Instead, I saw Daniel. He wasn't alone. There, in the shadows of our driveway, was my husband kissing another man. Not a peck, not an accident, a full-on, pressed together, hands in hair, bodies too close kiss. My chest burned. My knees almost buckled. This wasn't a stranger's gossip or a vague suspicion. This was my life, my marriage, right outside my house. He didn't even have the decency to hide it. And you know what I did? Nothing. I froze behind the curtain like a statue, watching him betray me under our own porch light. I didn't scream. I didn't storm outside. Instead, I pulled out my phone. Click, click, click. Every shot proof I'd never be able to unsee. When he finally walked inside minutes later, he smelled faintly of cologne and rain. He kissed me on the cheek like nothing happened. I said nothing. My silence was ice, and he never noticed. That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling. Hurt bled into anger. Anger hardened into resolve. By sunrise, I knew exactly what I was going to do. The next few days, I went through the motions like a ghost, smiling at coworkers, buying groceries, pretending to listen when friends texted, but inside, I was planning. I stalked them, followed Daniel's lies with my camera phone, watched their routines like a hunter waiting for the perfect shot. Every click of the shutter added fuel to the fire. The sight of them laughing together, touching, leaning in, it was like pressing on a bruise until it bled. But I wasn't just going to rely on what I could see with my own eyes. No, I needed ironclad proof, the kind that would scorch him beyond repair. So one morning, when Daniel claimed he'd be working late again, I set up cameras in the living room and our bedroom. Small, hidden, silent. Insurance, in case he ever dared to cross the ultimate line and bring his side piece into my house. And wouldn't you know it, the fool couldn't even resist the temptation for a single day. Barely 10 minutes after I left for work, Daniel was back. And he wasn't alone. The cameras caught everything. Him fumbling at the door with Liam right behind him, laughing like they'd just pulled off the world's funniest prank, clothes strewn across the couch, kisses trailing into the bedroom, and then, well, let's just say the cameras didn't miss a single sordid sexcapade. When I watched the footage later that night, my stomach twisted, but I didn't cry. I cataloged. I took stills. I turned every moan, every thrust, every shameful moment into evidence. By the time I was done, I had enough to wallpaper the whole damn house. And here's the part that still makes me laugh in the darkest way possible. I printed it. All of it. Not just the kisses in the driveway, but the bedroom acrobatics, the living room nudes, the sweat-stained proof that my marriage was a theater of lies. By the third night, I had a mountain of glossy humiliation sitting on my desk. And as I stared at it, scissors in hand, I realized I wasn't just exposing him. I was about to bury him alive in confetti. Monday morning arrived like Judgment Day. I slipped into my sharpest blazer, painted my lips a shade of red that could kill a man at 20 paces, and packed the confetti into a white bakery box tied with ribbon. Inside wasn't sugar or sweetness. It was rot. His rot. And not just kisses and driveway snapshots. No, this box was stuffed with everything. Still frames from the hidden cameras. Every sordid angle of their performance. Nudes, groans, frozen mid-frame. Proof that my husband hadn't just betrayed me emotionally, but had defiled the home we built together. The lobby of his office smelled of coffee and disinfectant. Sleek glass walls, spotless floors. The receptionist smiled warmly. "Dropping something off for Daniel?" she asked, eyes flicking to the bucks. "Yes," I said, my voice dripping with honey. "Something he left behind." I walked straight to the conference room. Daniel's voice carried. Loud, confident, like nothing in his world had changed. I stepped inside. The air tightened. All eyes turned to me. I placed the box on the table, untied the ribbon, and unleashed hell. Handful after handful soared into the air. The glossy squares twisted, spun, and rained down across laptops and coffee mugs. At first, gasps filled the room, then silence, and then the dawning horror. Because it wasn't just a kiss this time. It was Daniel naked in our bed with his lover. It was his mouth, his hands, his sweat plastered across quarterly reports and PowerPoints. It was positions that no HR policy in the world could excuse. His face drained of blood, his jaw opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. His assistant turned crimson. One coworker gagged. Another burst into nervous laughter before clapping their hand over their mouth. And me, I stood there calm as a queen watching her enemy burn. I didn't say a word. Didn't need to. The photos did all the talking. When the last square fluttered down, I gave him a smile, slow, sharp, devastating, and turned on my heel. My heels clicked on the tile like gunshots. I left him choking on his own disgrace. Walking out of that building, I felt lighter. I had carried his secret alone for weeks, and now the whole world bore the weight with me. His reputation shattered in minutes. His carefully cultivated, respectable husband image in ashes. But revenge, as sweet as it tastes, always leaves an aftertaste. Word spread like wildfire. His colleagues whispered, friends texted, family called. And then came my sister Amanda. She stormed into my apartment that night, eyes blazing. "Nora, what the hell did you do?" I shrugged, sipping wine like it was water. "I exposed him, simple as that." Her jaw clenched. "Exposed him? You outed him. Do you have any idea what that means? You live in a country where people like him barely have rights. You didn't just show he cheated, you turned his sexuality into a weapon." Her words stung, but I didn't flinch. I stared at her, glass in hand, and said, if he wasn't bisexual, I would have found something else. I would have used whatever dirt I had, because I don't care about his well-being anymore, not after he humiliated me in my own home. Amanda shook her head. That doesn't make you strong. That makes you cruel. Maybe she's right. Maybe I crossed a line. But tell me this, was I supposed to protect him? Shield him from consequences after he made a mockery of me, of our marriage, of our home? No, I wasn't built to play martyr. I was built to survive. So I'll ask you, was I wrong to weaponize every scrap of proof I had? Was I wrong to turn his betrayal into confetti and let the whole office choke on it? Or was it exactly what he deserved? Because here's what I know. Even the kindest woman can be vicious when cornered, and sometimes the sweetest revenge isn't just public, it's unforgettable. If you were in my shoes, would you have stayed quiet, confronted him privately, or thrown his lies to the wind like I did? Tell me in the comments, and if you're new here, subscribe, because this is only one of many stories where betrayal meets brutal, delicious justice.